like more nervous right now.
I'm so nervous for us three.
Guest, I don't know.
Welcome to the Bet on Her podcast, hosted by Gina, Kelly, and myself, Dana. Your dynamic trio, passionate about empowering women and building a community of support and inspiration. We're thrilled to have you join us on this exciting journey of personal growth, celebration, and empowerment. Join us as we celebrate this significant milestone, express gratitude for our guest stories, and reaffirm our commitment to building a community that uplifts and empowers one another. The Bet on Her podcast is your invitation to be inspired, motivated, and part of a vibrant network where women's voices are celebrated and amplified. Together, we can embrace our strengths, encourage personal growth, and celebrate a world where women thrive.
Love it, Dana.
Wow, you guys.
You guys
20.
This is crazy.
yeah, it's wild.
So crazy.
I remember our first episode and we had the ceiling light. We had
mess.
we were met. We didn't do a briefing call. Like we were just like, but I mean, it's so cool to see how much we've each grown as individuals and together, and how I feel like we've each found our voice too, and been able to elevate the voices of our guests as well, because we've had some amazing people on and we've had some amazing episodes and we've had tons of people tune in, which is so cool. So thank you to everyone who's listened and supported us.
Yeah, we're I think one of the fastest growing women's podcast.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Shots fired. Boom. Wait, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool fact, though, because I don't really think that there are women podcasts out there, but as far as women podcasts that are centered around women in sport, I think there's a few. But I think one of the coolest things for me has not only been the people who have, like, obviously we've seen the numbers and everything, but as I've been in public playing at my own tournaments, or even at events we've gone to, like it happened to us at the LPGA event, the fact that people are recognizing Bet on Her, or even inquiring and asking, wait, what is that? And so interested and inquiring. But like the fact that these women and individuals are just so supportive and reaching out to us, in public is so cool. So it's even more cool to me that somebody recognizes Bet on Her than somebody being like, oh, Jeannie Ranger, you're a volleyball player. I'm like, yeah,
you
whatever.
you have like the greatest following and the greatest fans.
Oh, thanks.
Like both of you. I mean, you're so famous.
I don't have as many followers.
You're still you're famous.
But I feel like what Gina said, when we would go to the LPGA events or just like other events in general, we wear our Bet on Her merch, which I think is great, but they ask and they're curious about, well, what is that? And I feel like it's been so fun to explain that from like when we first started till now, and then to see where it goes. But it's been so fun, and being at events too, and for all the athletes that support us and we ask them to wear the tattoos, and just to see, I think that has been such a cool moment for me personally, of like being in Huntington and having like all the athletes wear it. It's like, oh, I felt a part of something.
Yeah.
So
something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
I just got chills thinking about it.
It's like bet on yourself to do hard things. And it's like to see where we started, where we're going. It's been such a fun journey. So Dana, again, just so super grateful.
Yeah.
For
Thank you so much for making it happen, Dana.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, like, this is a blood pact now.
Did we prick our fingers and like share each other's blood?
Should we do that?
Maybe.
Underneath this bright light.
Oh gosh.
It would be quite the ceremony. Yeah, like you guys were touching base on being recognized and stuff. I was at the Angel City FC game. Shout out to Coral. She came over to me and was like, "Are you Dana?" And I was like, "Yeah." From Bet on Her Buzzle Media. And I was like, "Yeah." And it was really great meeting her. And then what else was there? I was in Ostrava for the FIVB event, and I had the Bet on Her t-shirt on, and there was someone there who was like, are you Dana from Basel Media? Bet on her. And I was like, yeah. She's like, wow, I'm a listener. You guys have a great podcast. And I was like, thank you for listening. But I think also it's really great getting like the emails and the DMs and stuff too about how, let me clear my throat, how women have taken a bet on themselves and how they continue to take a bet on themselves, you know. And I love that we are bringing this community together and empowering one another through this platform. And that's what I want to continue to do, is that this is more than a podcast, it's a movement. And those that were wearing the tattoos, thank you. It allowed for us to not only get the word out of the podcast, but also donate to Play Like a Girl. And so we donated, what was it? It was like $250.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was amazing. And that's what I said. Like we're more than a podcast. We don't do just volleyball. You know, we don't compete with anybody. There is no competition because there isn't any competition. We talk to and invite amazing female executives, agents like Farron, so great, players. We're bringing on, you know, a few more athletes that are outside of volleyball as well. Winter Renicki was awesome to meet and talk to. And hopefully we can bring more people on, you know, and it's not just like, yeah, we have Olympians. That's great. They each have a story and so unique and special. But we have people like Kim Hildreth too, who's just full of knowledge, you know. And I've loved every single one of our guests.
Yeah, I have too. And I feel like I've learned a lot from each of them as well. And I think that for talking more about the future of what we hope for this is we want to bring on women who are not just, obviously because of Kelly and I, our immediate network is volleyball, right? Or beach volleyball.
Yeah.
But not saying that we're discrediting that, because we think our sport is amazing and it deserves more notoriety and voices to be shared and people to be aware about the sport. But like also we want to bring on women from other sports. Like we had, we had Cameron Irwin on last week, who's amazing. She's sports broadcasting, so that's a unique perspective.
Yeah.
But we would love to get, you know, WNBA, soccer players, water polo players.
We had Allison Lee on too.
Yes,
golfer.
yes, we did. Yeah, we did that LPGA little soundbite with her at the event, which was so cool that she did that.
And she's doing well, it sounds like.
Yeah, she's killing it.
It's been fun to follow her, and just I think obviously we just want to continue to explore our network into other sports as well. So
yeah,
I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I think one thing that she said in our interview with her that really stuck with me was about how important it is for a sport like women's golf to have people like us come and watch and support. She's like, that's what we need in order to grow the sport. And I think ultimately that's what we need for all women's sports, is we need women watching other women play and excel at such a high level. And then people like sports, or Cameron Irwin doing sports broadcasting, who's sharing these stories and marketing these athletes in a very entertaining and knowledgeable way too.
Yeah.
And like we're also doing that in a way, and like we talked about, Dana's doing that in a way with her video and her photography, that, you know, all of that she's doing for athletes on the side too, which is amazing. So
yeah, thanks.
First I feel like we should get into Dana's first experience in Ostrava.
Let's go.
First time in Europe, right?
Well, I was when I was young. I was in Romania.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't count because I was just so young. I don't remember anything.
Right.
But this was like your first stamp in your passport in how many years?
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're putting you on the spot.
How many years? I mean, I was probably like 7.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I want to hear, because I know we haven't talked too much about it, but I wanted to hear, what was your experience like? And
you guys, I wanted to do this
for an event on that scale, an Olympic qualification event for beach volleyball.
Yeah.
You got to be a part of and shoot some of the, not some of, but a lot of the top athletes in the world.
Yeah. I mean, it was from the very beginning. I mean, I tagged along with Betsy and Julia, and they were so kind to let me do that. Because the last thing I want to do is be a distraction. I don't want to be the reason why somebody gets, loses focus or anything like that. So thank you, Betsy and Julia, for allowing me to do that. And then, we get into Ostrava, and I didn't know what to expect at all. But as soon as you get to the hotel, I stayed with the main draw team players, and you walk in and there's like signage everywhere of welcoming everybody, what the expectation is to shuttle, like the itinerary, everything was there, and there was somebody posted there all day. And then I got an email, you know, prior to everything was like, hey, meet at this time. We're gonna do a photographer's meeting just to touch base on where you're allowed to be and where you're not allowed to be, and everyone's getting credentials. And I got this official credential one, which was really great because I had a little bit more access than everybody else. But I've never been at an event where it was just so professional. Security was everywhere. Photographers knew where they needed to be. Everyone was so kind and welcoming. And it was extremely well organized. Like, there were no, I don't know how to put it. Like, it was just like really encouraging to see and be a part of that. And then I thought, what an opportunity to be among the best in the world and to be accepted by them. And everyone was just so kind, like even just taking photographs and just sharing it with them. And they were like, they were just so grateful. I wasn't doing any video. It was because they want to own the rights to that. But overall, it was such a positive experience. I'm looking forward to the next one. Hopefully I get to go to Switzerland, because it's tough to get in. You don't get like a yes or no right off the bat. You don't even get a confirmation. You just fill out the registration and you just hope for the best and hope that you can get in. And yeah, it was great. I loved being a part of the American team. I think a lot of the players came up to me and they were like, you know how it's just so great to have you here and to have someone that we know here and being a part of this. And it just felt like a team. You know, USA, sure, everyone has, you know, their own separate teams. It's Julia, Betsy, Sponsel, Cannon, Kelly Chang, Sarah Hughes, and so on and so forth, you know. And I try to be at every single one of their events. I think I only missed one team, and that was like Buddinger and who was he playing
Evans.
with? Evans, yeah. That was the only one I missed, but I was running back and forth up and down because they allowed for me to go everywhere. And I was telling Joseph the other day, it was like I was doing 4 to 6 miles every day, and unfortunately I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating enough and I wasn't drinking enough, because you told me, you're like, hey, make sure you stay hydrated.
You have to stay hydrated when you're going overseas.
I know.
You gotta
long
get in the
travel.
sunlight. You gotta have a macro bar on you.
Dude.
You're like a chew.
I had, you know what I had? A Snickers. There's
Honestly,
Snickers.
Snickers are great. Yeah.
Snickers, big
I
fan.
think you were the one who told me that.
Yeah, Delaney and I would eat those last year during
Yeah.
like certain matches. It's the best source of energy, I think.
Well, that's what they tell hikers and backpackers to have. It's
Yeah.
like the best thing that you can, and it's easy to pack, whatever. But so that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, like I had a Snickers on me, but it tastes very different there.
Better.
Like real, like you
Richer.
tasted. No, yeah, you tasted the peanuts.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I mean, everything from the food, from the fans. There was no dead space. There was no silence, even between points. Like, it was just like getting the crowd going, getting everybody hyped up. They supplied everybody with these signs. There was security everywhere. You had to pay to get in. So they were really vigilant with that and careful, not allowing anybody to go wherever they wanted. But yeah, the energy was just so electric and drastically different from what it is here.
Yeah, I mean, at the highest caliber, you would hope that you know, the top athletes are being treated like actual professionals.
Yeah.
I think, to kind of piggyback off of that, I felt that when we went to both of the LPGA events, both at the Palos Verdes Country Club and the Wilshire Country Club, like, even though obviously golf is a different atmosphere, whereas like Ostrava, I'm sure there's like fans cheering always, whereas like LPGA, you know, you have the people, the volunteers holding up the quiet signs, but like there's this level of respect, and you're seeing the people who have or certain players that have avid fans that like follow them to every hole and cheer. It doesn't matter if it's like somebody they know or not. Like, if someone makes a really good putt or a really good first swing, like people are clapping and cheering for it. And so and I think the setup of it too, how there's cameras on every hole,
Mm-hmm.
there's screens that show like the scoreboard and or the scorecard and who's on what hole and who's paired up together. So that event for me was very impressive as well, to see how professional, that level is as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but on Instagram just before this podcast, I put a question out there about like what our listeners want us to talk about, and one of them, just going off of what you said, was thoughts on how the AVP can improve. And you were discussing and just saying about how there's a camera at every hole, and I was so disappointed that I couldn't see. I didn't know where to watch Virginia Beach Open. And I was texting Johnny.
I don't think there was a live stream.
There wasn't a live stream. I think originally at the start of the season they had said that there would be a Bally's live stream, but then I guess there wasn't. At the start of the season, they talked to us about like their main goal for this season was to grow a fan base, to get people. Obviously, we have volleyball players and volleyball fans are already our fans, but they're trying to increase it to people who are not necessarily super knowledgeable of the sport, but maybe come across it like through the Bally's app. There's a bunch of like baseball on there, and they're thinking like, oh, maybe the baseball fans will like tune into AVP and then become a volleyball fan. And I think that one of the issues is if you're trying to grow your fan base, it needs to be clear and communicative and easy to navigate in order to learn about where you can watch our sport, who's playing, who's who, etc. Like if you have, if you go onto the AVP website and there's, let's say AVP Huntington, and like, let's say Kelly and I are playing each other and you can see it in the bracket. Well, if you click on it, it should take, like, I feel like it should have a link that will take you exactly to where you can watch it, whether it's on ESPN Plus or if it's on the Bally's app, or, obviously it takes you to the live scoring, but like, or say for Virginia Beach this weekend, there wasn't anything on the AVP website. You had to go to AVP America Bracket Pal, which like only us as players know that.
I didn't know that.
Right. And so the fans don't know that. So I just feel like if you're going to grow a fan base, you need to make it easier to navigate, like an all-in-one place, and communicate way more clearly and effectively when things are happening.
What do you think, Kels?
I agree. I think it's just been so hard to navigate. But yeah, I think just access, just as far as you click on a link, it takes you directly there. It's just communicating, like, where can we watch? How do we find out about it? But I'm sure they're trying to work on that. And I mean, I don't know what the ins and outs are of running a business, but I feel like it's been difficult to even tell fans like where to find it or how do I find out about it? Like everyone's kind of on Instagram saying, where can I find the link? I'm like, I'm not streaming my matches. Like that takes away data for me. And that's stressful in itself. Like I don't really want to do that. Like that shouldn't be on me to do. But if I need to do that, then I will stream my matches. But I'm not that type of athlete that will stream my matches. So I don't know what the solution is. I mean, I feel like in the past we've had YouTube and you just put up a camera on one of the courts and just from the end zone and just stream it live feed. I feel like that's so easy, but I don't know what the solution is.
We need Troy to go on his Twitch and just start going to these.
And just stream every court. We can get him, set up 4 phones or whatever. I mean, I agree, Kelly. Like I'm not somebody that's going to, I'm focused on my match at hand, and I'm not going to worry about setting up my phone and making sure it's working and making sure my phone's charged. But obviously there are other players that are doing it, which is great because now people are able to watch them. But yeah, I think it's hard because there's so much potential for this sport, and the sport has grown so much with collegiate beach volleyball on the women's side, especially. And I just feel like if, you look at what it looked like 10, 20 years ago, right. More than 10 years ago, because when I first started playing was 10 years ago. But, and I think we can get it back there. I mean, it's the most watched sport at the Olympics, right. And it's the fastest growing emerging sport next to pickleball now. But, it's, there's so much potential. And I just, like you said, I don't really know what the answer is, but I know that there's probably a better one.
Well, yeah, I think we just have to continue to forward think, and instead of being in the past of what it was, where is it going to go? We need to have this forward mentality of what's the solution for 2023 and beyond. So it's not going to be what it was in the 80s. We can't go back. I mean, Back to the Future is a great movie, but that's just not possible, I don't think, as much as we would want it to be what it was. But I think we just need to find solutions for the future or today, And I mean, especially now, like the women's side, it's growing. Like you have all these collegiate athletes. It's booming. So I'm sure they are figuring it out. I mean, I would imagine, you know, good things take time, but until then, we just have to wait and work through the muck.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
But I'm not the type of player that is going to stream my matches. Like, that's not a priority. I'm more focused on what I need to do, what my team and I need to do. Like, I'm there to play, to compete, to win. I'm not there to stream. That's not my title.
Yeah.
I have no, I have no expertise in that. Like,
Yeah.
people can do it on their Facebooks, which I think is great, but I'm just not, that's not a strength of mine. So I play into my other strengths of
engaging with the fans.
Yeah. I love that. I love filming you because you're like, I asked you, I was like, do you remember this one moment? And you're like, I black out.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like with some of our guests, we've talked about like your emotions, and like Misty May said that like she never really acknowledged it. Same with April. But like, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I need to do that. But it's like, no, like that's not me. Like I have to like engage with the crowd and I kind of feed off of that, or certain times where, I mean, yes, I'm like mentally focused in it, but I always like to engage with the fans because they're there to watch you. And like, how cool is it to like connect with an athlete, or like a fan connects with an athlete or whatever?
I know, yeah.
Just to give them a little something. And like my family's there, like they come and support, and I'd like to acknowledge them, and you know, your friends and some kid or who knows, whoever's watching you, but to have that connection maybe during a match, it makes them feel part of it.
Yeah.
So that's my style of play. I know Gina doesn't like that. I know it rubs her the wrong way.
No, it's not that it rubs me the wrong way. I think it's great. It was more so when we play against each other. I don't feed into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm I'm trying to win right now.
I know.
But no,
I like to chirp at G.
Yeah, she chirps.
Well, it's funny. Even today, Therese, I was with Jess and I were training against Therese and Sponsel, and we were kind of chirping a little bit, but it was like all harmful fun. And Therese like apologized. I'm like, no, don't apologize. Like, I love it. Like, play into your strength, be who you are. Like, I love it. I feed off of it. I think it's great.
Yeah,
there was healthy for the sport.
There was so much chirping in Ostrava from the former partners on the guy's side.
Oh, interesting.
Oh man,
I like it.
One of them got a yellow. I can't remember, but someone definitely got a yellow.
Like different countries or
no, USA.
Oh, the tea.
Yeah.
Let me sip it.
Yeah. So it was Try and Trevor were chirping.
Oh, well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen that close up like that.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because it wasn't like that with the other, from my perspective, from other countries.
Yeah.
They were like, everyone's just like.
That's one thing I noticed, the couple international events that I've played, it's like almost more quiet. Like you don't really like, you celebrate really good plays, but it's not as rah as I find AVP events to be. Yeah. And people it's strictly business. Like we're here the Olympics, like that is the goal. And that's like the highest caliber in our sport, you know? So, but yeah, kind of going back to what we had with like what the way Misty explained it in April was kind of like, I show with my play and like, that's how I do it. And I don't acknowledge, you know, April, I remember she said, she was like, if you're going to trash talk, like,
she doesn't even hear it.
No, it's like, I don't hear you. Or like, if you do, like, I don't care, you know, you're just wasting energy on what you could be doing to play well. And yeah, I respect that.
It's admirable.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've learned a lot as a fan of the sport from our guests. And I feel like you both have learned quite a bit in terms of strategy, mindset, coaching, you know, philosophy, everything from our guests, which I've loved and enjoyed so much.
I think one of my favorite ones was with Nicole Davis. She just graduated, by the way.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Nicole Davis.
Yes. And so
Dr. Davis.
And then also one of my best friends and your really good friends, Dr. Riley Cropper G.
Yeah.
Another doctor.
Yeah. And both of them had unique perspectives of like not only self-talk, but mindfulness and talking about like your philosophy and your core values. So if you guys haven't listened, listeners, if you haven't listened to those episodes, I would highly recommend going back and listening to them because you're going to want your notebook. You're going to want to take notes because it's really good tips and tricks and just overall, I mean, it's really good for your mental health. Everyone needs a little check-in, a little help.
Yeah, I think from when we started, all of the episodes, like I mean, my notebooks here, it's getting like I'm a little bit over halfway, but the amount of notes I've taken and just learning from all of our guests, it's helped me improve both as an athlete, as a woman. I don't know, it's been super fun. I feel like there's been a ton of growth and just feeling more comfortable and in front of the mic, in front of the cameras, from a different.
We're gonna cut to the first episode that we had of you.
Oh, I was like literally up here, like just so nervous because like
You weren't moving. The mic was like here, and you were just like.
I know, but I
That's
feel,
like-
yeah. But I mean, like growth doesn't happen in a day. It takes
Right.
3 weeks. It could take
Mhm.
months, and you just if you stick with it and you're consistent, which I think we've done a pretty good job of. I mean, we're learning as we go, but I don't know. I feel comfortable. I'm excited to see where we go, and it's been such a fun learning process with you too, and with our guests, and for our listeners and our fans who give us feedback and what they like and what they want to see more of. And
Yeah.
I think that engagement is huge, and it feels part of a community or something. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I also feel like with the guests that we've had on, obviously there's people that I knew but didn't know on a deeper level. So it's been really nice to get to know them in that way. And in a way, it's also made me like, I want to support them.
Yeah.
Even if they are my competitor, like that's okay. Like I support their journey. You know, every journey is unique. Every person's different. Like you don't know somebody unless you've walked in their shoes, and that's physically impossible. So like I just have way more empathy for all these people, and even guests that, or even people that haven't come on our podcast. Like I find myself at events, like, you know, I'm less like, I don't know what the word is, but I don't know. I just feel overall more supportive of the community in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Which
Like I think it's like that was the whole point. Like there was somebody who came up to me. I was talking to an athlete, and they were like, "Well, I can't be friends with the people that I compete against," and I was like, "I want to change that." And that was the whole point of this, is bringing the community together. And it's like it's interesting because like, you know, there's been a lot of friendships that have developed as a result of this podcast, you know, like bringing Betsy on too, you know, I know that you're a big fan, Kels, and yeah, she's like more talkative and more
Yeah.
open, and both you are texting and talking and all this stuff, you know, like it's so great because there's a human factor outside of the fact that, yeah, your jobs are, you know, volleyball players, beach volleyball players professionally. And yeah, there's more to life than your sport. You're more than your sport as well.
For sure. I have a funny story I just thought of. Was I was fresh out of college, and I just randomly was like, I'm gonna go to a psychic today. So I go to a psychic, and
Where is this going?
anyway, I walk in. All she asked for is my full name and my birthday. So I'm like, Gina St. Clair Urango, August 2nd,
St. Clair?
St. Clair.
Wow.
I
Did you
know.
know that?
That I did not know.
No.
Whoa, you know, I thought I knew everything about you.
I thought it was Gina Beto. Here
Yeah.
it go.
That would be a great
Well,
nickname.
Kelly and I have this funny nickname for each other. It's Beto. And there was one Halloween where we dressed up as minions together. And so then we just pretended to talk in their language. And it was like, Beto, Beto, Beto. And then there you go.
Stuck ever since.
It's stuck. But anyway,
Anyways.
St. Clair. Yes, I'm a
Okay.
saint. Urango, gave her my birthday. And then all of a sudden she looks at me. She's like, oh, your third eye is completely closed. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what that meant.
are
I
you
was like, But anyway, that she talked about some other stuff when it was like in a very toxic relationship, blah, blah, blah. But then she went on to say, like, I was asking about my future and my career. And she's like, you know, I see you being very successful in your career, but I see a lot of women figures trying to bring you down. And I was like, that's so
Oh.
interesting. But I realized what it was me being successful in beach volleyball and my competitors, other females. No, but you know what? They're like more so. I think she meant like the way I interpret it at least was that I'm going to be competing against a lot of women and they're going to try and beat me, but I'm still going to be successful. So anyway, that was a side note, but
Whoa.
it was a very interesting experience. Do
Interesting.
we have another question? From
Yeah,
fans?
we did. We are running out of time, but real quick, women coaching women. Why is the sport still predominantly coached by men? Is that our choice?
And for beach volleyball or volleyball in general.
I think just Volleyball, or any coaching, I guess. I mean, I guess in your profession, it's volleyball, beach volleyball.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be more women. And I think that you're seeing more for sure, especially in beach volleyball and collegiate level, hopefully. But I mean, I was actually mostly coached by men in my club, college, post like beach volleyball. I've had more women for sure, but yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I just think that there definitely could be more women that could be at that caliber that just aren't. And I don't know if it's probably a systemic, issue. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Kel?
I think they're trying to make the push for it. I think again it takes time, but I feel like maybe there's a lack of women coaches out there, or I don't know, but I feel like in the college scene there's a lot of women in the forefront right now that are becoming head coaching positions, assistants, both I think indoor and on the beach. From the pro side, I just think there's just not as many coaches. But I feel like moving forward, they are making the push, and it's exciting to see, more female coaches out there. Yeah, I think it's a balance of a little bit of both. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I was coached by my mom, so
Yeah, she told me that.
yeah, I'm sure she did.
Your
That was
mom's
great.
So fun.
My mom's great.
How was that being coached by your mom?
It was good. I mean, it definitely had its moments of tough love. I mean, you're a teenager, so you're going through, life. But no, I really valued my relationship with my mom. I mean, we talk volleyball to this day, and I'm very appreciative of what she exposed me to. She pushed my limits. She knew this is what I wanted to do, and
well, mind you, for listeners too, Kelly's mom is an Olympian.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot.
She UCLA
You
alumni.
forgot.
No,
Did you win a national championship at UCLA?
my mom played at UCLA, and then she coached there and won national championship.
And then she went to the Olympics.
Went to the Olympics, won a silver medal. So,
Silver.
and then the U.S. indoor team has only won silver up until this past cycle, where our indoor team finally won the gold, which was like such a powerful moment for them, and very stoked for all those girls because I know a few of them. But yeah, Jeannie Reeves, shout out. Yeah, she's a great coach.
We need to have her on the podcast.
I know. Well, we tried to get her on for the Mother's Day pod, but that was tough. But we'll have to get Jeannie Reeves back on.
But we had Fallon on instead, which was amazing.
Fallon was a great episode.
Thriving.
Yeah.
Right? Hashtag thriving.
Flow.
Hashtag thriving.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
flow. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool women out there that we would love to meet more of, and we would like to have them on our pod.
Yeah. So any women in sport listeners that are interested in potentially coming on,
We might have to get some
athletes,
coaches.
that's just
Executives.
executives, people working in the industry, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
Let us know, and we can try and make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and continuing to get feedback. I mean,
Yeah.
we want to know from the fans, right?
Maybe we take it on the road.
Honestly,
On the tour?
I'm ready to hit the road, Dick.
To bet on her tour.
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
Yeah.
Where would our first event be?
Let's go overseas.
Well, we can't go to Stad because we'll be in Hermosa.
Well, we should know. I think that's definitely a goal for the future of us, is that we want to, because obviously it's, we want to be able to be in person with these people. Obviously, if we can't make it happen, then we've done virtual, which works as well. But I think that it'd be amazing if we could do a little tour and hit up a few athletes around the world or the US, that don't have the means to get to LA, that we would still love to share their stories.
Yeah.
And on that note too, is if there are any brand sponsors that are looking to support us to travel overseas, flying first would be great.
Whoa, I've never flown first class.
I'll get you there. Don't you worry about that.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know. I mean, we're trying to change the world, and we don't want to lose sight of that ever.
Yeah.
Because this is just a small piece of it. Our little Manhattan Beach office here, or podcast room, and the people that we're directly involved with, and we see on you guys, especially on a day-to-day basis. But there are some people that we've reached out to in New Zealand. There was someone who sent me a note from there, and that was really cool. And then being recognized overseas and everywhere else, and in other sports as well, but you just want to tell as many stories as possible and giving everybody a platform, a safe platform, you know, to do that. Yeah, that's definitely one of our goals is to travel. I would love to do one with you guys.
It'd be so much fun.
But first we got to go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And Top Golf.
And Top Golf. I love that place.
We got to go to Top Golf.
All for the activities.
Yes.
All of the activities.
And SoFi Stadium and a pickleball event and an Angel City and like we got so much on the
Yeah.
to-do list.
We're so busy.
Guys, I think I want to go to WNBA game this Friday.
Oh, I wish I was in town.
Where are you going?
We're going to Aspen to coach a clinic out there.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Get in the mountains, get away a little bit.
Some fresh air.
Recharge.
Even though we'll be still coaching volleyball, which is fine.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice.
Yeah.
You guys should, if you get there Thursday, you should go to the Denver Nuggets parade. They just won the NBA
yeah,
finals.
that's right.
Denver will be popping bottles. That is for sure.
And it's also the Food and Wine Festival in Aspen this weekend too. So
You guys do a vlog.
I know we should.
Well, we're better on her tattoos.
On your neck.
Yeah.
I need to do it. I keep telling people like, oh, I'm gonna put it on my throat, but I always put it on my right side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Do we have any other questions from fans?
I'm looking. Let me see. I'm refreshing. I think that was it. Except for you. You said pets.
What did you write?
I submitted a topic. We should talk about our pets because we got a pet in the room, and my mom just got a puppy that I'm obsessed with. Anyway, that was a joke, but
Yeah. No. The two were just thoughts on how the APP could be better or do better, and then the women in coaching.
awesome.
Those are the ones, and then yeah. I mean, those people that just so our listeners know, I can see who is looking at her story, and you're clearly not responding. Okay.
Some people mindlessly look through Instagram though. So.
Farron, I see you out there.
Is she in Barbados? What is she doing on her chair?
She actually just was in Barbados.
She was. Yes, I saw that. I was like, she's living the life.
She was probably one of my favorite ones.
That was the most entertaining pod.
Yeah.
Wow, she could just talk for hours, and it was electric.
We should go over to her house and see if she could throw that orange to your house.
You're right.
Oh my God.
In our parents' backyards. Yeah, I would love to have her on again. There's definitely people we want to have on again too, because 35, 40 minutes to an hour is not enough time to get to really know somebody and get deep into some topics that we want to cover. But topics that I really love that we've covered is identity, you know, like facing identity, whether you're faced an injury and you have to stop playing your sport, or you retire and facing your identity there, your self-talk, mental game, confidence, like that's a huge thing that women, you know, and also just being a woman in certain industries and having to voice, like exert your voice and be known and show that you're capable and deserve to be there.
Speaking of, you know, different industries, I just want to also shout out the fact that beach volleyball world had multiple female photographers there.
That's awesome.
It was so great to see. I think it was 50-50.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never seen that before outside of myself and Lisa.
And they get even at other sporting events too. You don't see that.
Yeah. LPGA wasn't like that.
No, there were a lot of males.
A lot of males.
Yeah.
And we need to change that. If there are any listeners out there that are, I don't know, part of the media of a sports team or something,
they would be great on.
That would
too.
be great. Yeah. Just bring them on.
And you know, we're not, for all the men listeners out there, we're not saying like get rid of the men. We just want fairness and equality.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah. That's
you
it.
know,
Girls.
feminism.
Well,
Feminism.
empowerment. I know I said that the first episode.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. Here
I
we
know.
are.
I loved it though.
Yeah. I can't believe 20 episodes. Hopefully we can do 20 more.
Baby Kelly.
Baby Kelly. Look,
Yeah.
I'm wearing a jacket.
I know.
I dressed up for this pod. I got the gold hoop.
You look
I
great.
wore our co-host shirts that Dana made for us.
Yeah. I wonder what our listeners think of the merch.
Yeah.
We have the hoodie on there. We have
Mhm.
we have a hat, and then we have
The new t-shirts.
the new t-shirt that says bet on the back.
Bet.
Bet.
Yeah, so people who want to support and also rep and be a part of the community, merch is on the Buzzle Media website, so
Yep.
you can go check that out and get yourself some swag.
Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe eventually we'll get the tattoos on there, but
Yeah.
not yet.
Not yet.
Was there anything else? I think we do need to maybe thank Trust and Will too.
Yes, definitely.
They were our first what was it? God, my brain.
Sponsor.
Yeah, title sponsors. They were our first title sponsor. Shout out to Dana Goldstein and Cody for trusting us to represent them well and be a part of this podcast and these episodes.
And to talk about the importance of legacy and taking care of your legacy.
Which let's ask each other, what legacy, Gina, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
It's a good question. I've thought about this a lot, and I feel like the biggest thing that I've always tried to live by, that I want others to live by, whether you're an athlete, a woman, just a human being in general, is to be empathetic. Because I think it's so important to know, to try to understand what others are going through, because we have our own struggles. Life is suffering in a weird way from, one of my favorite books, Man's Search for Meaning, but also it's finding meaning in that. So being able to be empathetic towards others, I think, is something that I really want my legacy to be.
Hills?
I don't know.
It's deep.
It's a deep question. I feel like.
Gucci vibes.
Yeah, but I feel like that's like what everyone knows me for. I love the Gucci vibes. Yeah, I think, I don't know what episode it was, but it's just being my true self, the best version of me every single day, and to whoever I come in contact with. You're always being watched by someone, so I just think how I greet people and just being kind to others, and hopefully inspiring the next generation to do I don't know what, but yeah, I don't want to be known for the Kelly Reeves as the volleyball player. I want to be known as, the person who just has the Gucciest vibes ever. I don't know.
I think people think that.
Yeah. Sure. So I want to continue to just do that, and just to be a light in this world, in this community. And I know that coming into this career, it was very hard for me. I literally just put myself on the beach and had to navigate it, and didn't really have a lot of resources or connections. I mean, Gina, you were my first connection, as far as my first friend or ally or whatever you call it, but just to kind of create that for the next generation and kind of remove myself, as far as it's not in it for me, it's for what's to come. So, and yeah, just be the best version of me that I can be every single day. That's my legacy.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Dana?
What about you?
Well, first, for reference, you guys are known as if anyone follows the NBA, so I call Gina the Andre Iguodala, because you're cool-headed and you're calm, right?
No,
you're
Klay Thompson.
You're the Klay Thompson. You're the Klay Thompson, always lurking in the back, ready to pounce. You are the Andre Iguodala.
Yeah.
Because whenever we are in a group chat, you take a step back and you're like, this is the way it is. It's okay. We move forward. You're very calm. Yeah. And very, very calculated. And I'm the Draymond Green.
Fiery,
because I'm very passionate. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and that's a great segue for my legacy, is just the love. I think that there's not enough love and acceptance, and I think that everyone thinks that everything is black and white, but it isn't black and white. There are gray areas, and I think that without love, you don't give people opportunity, and you lose out on opportunity. And I think extending that love beyond yourself, beyond your loved ones, is really important, because that's what opens up the world and brings us together and brings the community together. And I think that's what I want to be known for, is Dana always loved on me and loved on us and continues to love. Mm-hmm. So this bet on her is bigger than me. It's bigger than us in this room. It's growing, mm-hmm. and that's what I want it to be, is showcasing our love for one another, for the community, for the women in the sport, women outside of the sport, and our male supporters as well, just continuing to show love wherever we are, and acceptance. So
that was great.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, it is.
Damn, that's better than mine. I need to improve. No. Maybe in the next 20 episodes.
I am older than you. I've gone through multiple cycles of chapters in my life. So I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot, and people don't see that because I'm just the Buzzle Media girl. But there's
people know you more for that.
That's debatable.
Well, I do.
Well, you do. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You both do.
You're more than a photographer and videographer. We're more than just an athlete.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's the legacy. We're more than just the athlete.
More than an athlete.
Yeah.
Sorry, LeBron James. We're going to steal that from you.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
Shoot.
That's okay. LeBron James, if you want to sponsor this episode. Jimmy Butler, I know you just lost, but that's okay too. Any WNBA players, whoever. I know Sue Bird walks around here. Maybe we can get her on the podcast. That'd be great. And on that note, I think we should end it with how do you guys take a bet on yourselves? I know that we did that in our interview for Bet on Her Media Day, but I would love to reiterate how you bet on yourselves daily, in the long term, in the past. Just want to know that.
Yeah, I think most recently for me, the way I've bet on myself is I've been trying to prioritize myself, and like putting myself first has not been easy. So I feel like I know a lot of athletes say I'm betting on myself by still, continuing to play the sport every day, which it's true. It's, that's the way I feel. But I feel like I'm betting on myself by putting myself first in what may be, the last couple years of me playing this sport. So I'm just going to give it my all and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I bet on myself to continue to grow this pod, to make connections within the community, and to make the athletes feel part of something. And
that
then
too.
What?
Sorry, ditto to that.
Yeah. And then I think just for me, that I can do hard things other than just volleyball. Like there are other things that I want to explore, maybe another career. So we'll see. I'm just continuing to do that every single day. And
I feel like you do bet on yourself. Like you've bet on yourself taking on this podcast. You bet on yourself to, make the decision to continue to play, and partner up with, these different partners. I think you bet on yourself all the time, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this year especially, just like walking in from preseason to now, like I knew I was going to be in the qualifiers, and it hasn't been easy. And I know that it's been a grind to get back into the main draw, but I write this down every single day. It's like I bet on myself that I can and will do hard things. So that's how I'm betting on myself, knowing where I'm at right now in my career, and who knows where it'll go. But until then, I will keep continuing to spread those Gucci vibes and bet on her, bet on us, bet on our community to do good things.
I love that. Yeah, I think we forget about the small bets that we take. Just taking a bet on trusting me to produce this podcast and get you guys on board, and on our guests, taking a bet on us to tell their stories. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And taking a bet that we're going to tell it well and represent you well. And I think that's a big thing, is that like people forget what we're doing here, building this community, and betting on me to do that is a lot of pressure, but it's something that I choose to take on. And a lot of it is choice. Because you could, be like, oh, I'm just going to take a step back. I don't care. Someone else is going to take it and do it, right? So many people have ideas, but they never execute because they think that they can't take a bet on themselves. And I'm here to tell you to take a bet on yourselves. Because, and I've told you guys this, like 6 months ago, I was nobody to everybody. Like I was in my lane doing my own thing, taking photos, and I would send them to you guys. And you're like, who's this? Great. Thanks for the photos. I took a bet on myself to teach myself videography. I took a bet on myself to learn how to edit and communicate. I mean, I'm an introvert, taking a bet on myself to put myself out there and talk to these people and talk to you guys, because I used to be starstruck, and I'm like, you guys are human beings. As long as I tell myself you're human beings first and foremost, I can connect with you on that level, rather than the athletic side. So I think that it's important to remind our listeners to bet on themselves on a daily. Remind yourselves of those bets, because we forget. We go through our day and it's like, well, who cares? It wasn't a big deal. And there are people in my life who remind me like, hey, this was huge. Like you just did that. You just went to a Strava. You just like put yourself out there. You just like were able to get media credentials for the AVP. You were able to get media credentials for Strava. You were able to like communicate and connect with all these athletes, and they appreciate that. And I think just taking the moment and saying, I did that, and celebrating those small wins. I think that's huge. So
The small wins are the best wins.
always
No regrets.
no regrets.
No regrets.
I love that. All right, you guys. I think that's it. I mean, we don't have anybody else, unfortunately. I mean, I see that there right now, currently,
Who do we want to call out?
you guys, there are
Who's
68 people who have looked at our story, and we've only got 3 responses. Come on. We need more engagement.
Next 20 episodes, I expect to see at least 15 questions.
Come on. Let's see. I'm going to start calling people
At
out.
least double out.
Let's start. Johnny, I see you. Justine, Deanna, Farron, Dr. Krappa,
Oh,
Dr. Grappa.
Megan, call her Scott, Nicole. Nicole's great. I met her. She is the physio over for Canada.
oh
I
very
met her
cool.
in Australia. Yeah. Liz Kim, who was at the LPGA. Brooke, Kaylee. I'm not even gonna say her name because I keep messing it.
Fallon. Fallon?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see a bunch of people on here.
That's all right. Next time we'll get them.
Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, you guys have anything else to add?
No, just thank you, everybody. Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Thank the listeners. Thank the community,
guests, yeah.
our guests.
Thank
all
you,
that.
listeners, for tuning in. We appreciate you. We see you. We love you.
We see you.
Yeah. We see
camera.
you.
To the camera. I see you.
We see you, fans. We love you, fans.
It's like Avatar. I see you.
I hear you. Well, we don't really hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Dana hears us with the
But no, we love our fans. Thank you for the support. Another 20. Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's freaking go.
You guys, let's bet on her, yeah?
Deal.
Deal.
And
Cut, baby.
great episode, you guys.